Okay. Hello. Welcome back. It's your amazing sounding Indian. I was gonna say a word, but what's that word called when you're thirst trap? Actually, I'm not a thirst trap. My name is Aryan Kapoor. This is the equation of life.
My name is Kyle,
My name is Karan.
and this is your human rights activist, Shlokrai.
With his toes out. Anyone wants feet pics? Just come here. I'll sell them to you for cheap.
The topic,
This is for free here. This is
the
for
topic of today's conversation, today's podcast episode, is a little bit of a personal one, but hopefully you guys can relate. Are we where we thought we would be? Well, we're all 21, 22 here. So, are we where we thought we would be at the age of 21, 22 when we were kids? And subsequently, where do we picture ourselves when we're 25? I think 25 is a nice age.
Yeah, it's like an even one there.
No, I'm not.
I mean,
I am most certainly not.
Here's the thing. I feel like when you're younger, you have slightly unrealistic expectations of what you can accomplish by the time you're 21.
because you have a different perception of what life is like at that time of your life, right?
I agree with that, but the issue is, and this is where it's a little bit sad, my expectations when I was 16 were very much regular.
Oh, here's the thing. If you're talking about 16, yeah, I think I'd gained enough knowledge about the world.
Are we talking about, because I feel like at 16 you have a very good idea of like what you need to do to get where you want to be.
Here's the thing. How about we do this? How about we say 10,
Yeah,
15,
yeah,
and then 25?
let's do it.
So let's change up the question a little bit. Would our 10-year-old self be proud of who we are today?
Yeah.
Would our 15-year-old self be proud of who we are today? What has changed along the way, if anything? Because I know that my dreams from when I was 10, what I thought I'd be at 21, are vastly different to real life today. And the same thing at 15. Maybe not vastly different, but still different enough, because when I was 15, I did not want to be doing what I'm doing right now. And I wouldn't necessarily say that I look at my life now and think that it's gone all right, or that I'm not where I want to be right now, but I definitely think I could be in a better position. But I also look back at all the decisions I've made, because at the end of the day, it's those decisions that have led me to be where I am. And if I had not made those decisions, I would not have had some or certain experiences that I've had. And a lot of the experiences I've had, I think I would not trade for very many things in this world.
It's like that question that I get asked all the time. It's like, do you regret anything? It's like that question you get asked whenever you, that question. It's like, do you regret anything in the past? And then the usual question, the deep answer is like, no, I regret nothing. Because if I wanted to change anything, or if I went back and changed anything, I wouldn't be where I am today. And if you're happy where you are today, usually a lot of people are happy where they are today. Maybe not happy per se, but they're content with where they want to be to an extent. But like a lot of people are like, no.
I think happiness is fleeting. I think the word you use, content, that's a better word to use than happy. Because within a day, you go through so many emotions, where at any given point in time, I'll be like, yo, you happy today? And the answer to that is, yes, I am, or no, I'm not. Right? Within a day itself, or within even an hour, bro, any frame of time, it changes a lot. But are you content with where you are? I think that's a much deeper question.
Do you think that's why people say, like, sometimes say in like a slang term, are you good? Like, don't you have people like, oh, are you good? You good, bro? Yeah, you good, bro.
But it's funny because we ask people that, and we say, are you good? But there's somewhere that there's this disconnect of whether we're actually feeling what we're saying. Like, do we really care about what that we're asking? Or do we actually kind of just say it on the offhand? Because it's like, it's kind of like what you're just saying. Like, hey, you good, man? Like,
Yeah, I'm good.
Like, it's just
I'm
like
chilling.
a routine thing, right? Like, you're just saying.
I just hope Shloka remembers that he has a mic on.
That's true. Yeah, he is stepped off
God.
screen right now.
Oh,
Shloka
man.
stepped off screen to take a call. I'm just letting him know that, he does have a mic. But
wait,
I think
let's-
he's taking it out. I think he's taking it off.
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
If not, well, it's gonna be tainted on you for a bit.
Hello?
But don't do that.
Yeah.
Wow.
But no, am I where I thought I would be at 10 years old? Absolutely
You're so
not. But I
lucky.
think the answer to
My
that
house.
lies in the fact that at 10 years old, I was very
15.
ambitious. I thought at 20, I would have a Ferrari. Actually, I thought at 20, I'd have a Lamborghini. Or at 10, yeah. Now it's occurred to me, I don't even want a Lambo. Like, Ferrari and Porsche are superior.
Who are you?
I want those two cars. But that's a very superficial way of saying that when you're a child, as you grow up, your dreams and aspirations for yourself change as well. When I was 10, I don't know what I wanted to be.
I wanted to be a chef.
I wanted to be a businessman.
What does that mean?
I don't know. 10-year-old monkey had no idea. I just wanted to wear a suit and have a briefcase.
You can still do that. You can wear.
Wow.
Yeah, I could wear a suit and I could have a briefcase, but that does not mean I am a businessman. You know, that's when that dream of mine ended. We want to do business in. I just want a suit and a briefcase. You know what I was thinking? Because I was watching Men in Black at the time.
Any one of those movies, Men in Black, James Bond, those suits.
Bro, when I was 5, I just wanted to be Spider-Man.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean,
Dude, I still run around my room going, trying to
Yeah.
expect,
Oh.
hoping webs would come out.
No, when you play Spider-Man, because he has a PS5. When you play Spider-Man, don't you like?
I act like it. I
Oh,
act
yeah.
like it. I sometimes hold up a.
Spider-Man's thing, like, you know, when you're in bed or you're lying down, you think to yourself, if I was Spider-Man right now, I wouldn't even have to engage any muscles to get up. I just like fling webs from my hand and just pull myself up.
exactly.
I think about the Force. I'm like, please, camera, move to me now. But it doesn't work.
That's
There's no kind of-
different universe. Different universe.
But
Jimmy, I know, but it's like,
it's fun though. So I think at 10 years old, I think all of us can be like, no, we're not. We thought
Yeah.
we.
I was 10 years old. 10 years old is what? Grade what? 3. I was playing
No.
Grade 5.
Yes, it's great fun.
Grade 5. Yeah.
grade 5. I was in this guy's. No, we weren't in the same. We were in the same class in grade 4. Grade 5, we were still in the same school. We were playing soccer out on the field. And Manhunt tag. We got banned for playing Manhunt out on the field.
Yes, it was this.
That's what we were doing in grade 5.
Grade 5 is when I moved to Canada.
Oh,
There
So
you go.
when I turned 10, where I moved in, yeah, I was already 10 when I moved to Canada. I did not know we was moving to Canada.
did you think you were gonna ride on polar bears when you came to Canada? A lot of like people from the U.S. and other countries say that.
I was 10.
Imagination runs wild.
That's what I'm saying.
I was not thinking about polar bears, I promise you. I was just excited. Listen, I loved traveling. I loved being on planes, yeah? And I knew that if we were on a 15-hour flight, we took Emirates, they were going to feed us 3 times a day. That's all I was thinking
Oh,
of.
I get that.
Yeah.
Because at that point you're super excited to go on the plane. You're like,
Yeah.
hey, we're going to a new place. It's a
Yeah.
You're like
it's a
little
new
Thomas the Tank
experience.
Engine backpack, you know?
Even
I
today,
remember.
I think I still get very excited to
Dude,
fly.
See,
I love airports.
I would.
Love it.
But here's the thing. Are you not? I think we can kind of relate to this.
Oh,
in a
God,
different
yeah.
economy.
Yeah. If we
Like
can.
I remember back when I was 10, I would love to fly in a plane. Nowadays, I love going to new places, but that experience of being on the plane, being 6'5", is it's a little bit difficult to enjoy it.
So I have a question now. So you know how you say you love traveling to places, especially as kids and stuff? When we were kids, don't you notice that we also were looking forward to growing up? Oh, I can't wait till I'm 16, I can drive a car. I can't wait till I'm 15, I can do this.
Yeah.
Can't wait to get tall, I can do roller coasters. Do you guys have that same perspective now? I can't wait till I grow up till I'm 25 or whatever.
Isn't how?
I
No, absolutely.
well,
Now I look back and I kind of wish I was 16 again. I was
Same.
like-
like I was.
We
at
have
that
those
thought
dreams,
too.
but let's be
You know,
honest.
I was talking to I can't say friend, but in 2017, my dad, like our family and a bunch of other families in Milton, we sponsored 2 refugee families to come over. And when they came over, the youngest child was, I think, I don't remember how old he was, but he was really young.
Mhm.
And I remember it was like this tall, right? And he had a high-pitched voice, he barely speak English, right? Fast forward, 6 years? I saw 27 to 2023. Yeah, 6 years. I saw him a few weeks ago. Kid's my height now. He's in grade 8. Right? And I was hit with an air of nostalgia. My dad goes, oh, look who's here to meet you. And I looked up and I looked at him. I'm like, I don't know who this is. I was like, oh my God, I do know who this is.
Yeah.
I just never anticipated to, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think that goes with any, like, I think I've seen a few family friends recently that I haven't seen in years. And I had the same feeling. Like, you realize you have those conversations and you're like, wow, time has really gone by. And not to sound like an old person, like a grandpa here, but
We're old.
it just makes you realize how much time has gone by. Even, I was talking to a few incoming students this past year. For reference, I've just actually finished my final year of university, but thank you. I was talking to some incoming students, first years, and I was thinking back to my experience back in 2019 when I was a first year student. And it just made me realize how much things had changed between 2019 and now, 2023.
We went through a lot of COVID.
Yeah.
We did.
I think we should go back to our question though. Do you, maybe we're not where we want to be at 10, but do you think your 10-year-old self would look at you as a role model, like someone they can be proud of?
10-year-old me, I think so, because with being 10 years old, you're really fascinated with someone who's older than you.
Yeah.
Right? You're very fascinated. You're like, okay, this person's doing this person's still doing this. And then if you can
This
especially
person
relate,
can drive and pay for
I
his
know.
own Happy Meal.
and
Yeah.
then if you think
Yeah.
about it, if all you have to do to an extent to look at, or for a 10-year-old to look up to you, is be relatable, be someone they can laugh with, be someone they can learn from, be someone that they can aspire to be, which is to an extent for a 10-year-old is very easy, right? You just have to show them that you're still fun, you're still a child, and you've learned something along the way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think as a 10-year-old, I would feel proud with where I am. Now, the other ages, I'm not too sure, but as a 10-year-old, I think I'd be someone that my 10-year-old self would want to aspire to be.
So, do you think 10-year-old Shok would be proud of 21-year-old Shok?
No. It's a hard question for me personally, but I don't think I would be. And many reasons combined, but it's because when I was 10, I think I watched the Oscars where Matthew McConaughey was talking about how he came to be where he was, like getting the word. And it was like a small quote. I might have not been 10 at the time, but I had a similar type of thinking at the time. That my role model is my future self 10 years from now. And it's an unachievable goal, but it's something I want to be. And so when I reached that age, at that time, Matthew McConaughey said he met the same woman who gave that idea and advice to him. And she asked, are you where you thought you would be? He's like, no, I'm not anywhere close, but I'm happy with the progress I've made. Currently with me right now, I'm not, but I have a new perspective at 21.
Do you think 10-year-old you was capable of feeling all of those emotions?
No, he wasn't. He had one emotion.
Like think about, let's say, imagine 10-year-old you is your cousin right now. And your cousin's sitting here, like on the ground playing with some cars,
Uncle Shok.
right? And just like looking up and be like, Shlok,
Shok,
what's one thing you would want, what's one piece of advice you give me, right? And you could literally tell them anything that's relatable, that's something they can understand, and they will look to you and they'll probably remember for the rest of their life.
That's true, but for me, I don't know. As a 10-year-old, I'm not different from any of you guys. I have the same unrealistic beliefs, but it was a different path I thought I would take and a different area I thought I would be at. And that's something you have to accept. Everyone has to accept failure at some point of their life. For me, I had to accept failure now because now I have to look out as a new perspective. So when my 10-year-old looks up at his 25-year-old self, like 4 years from now, I'd be proud of it. Even if I've not reached that certain goal I can, it's exactly what Aryan said. It's something relatable, something I can give them a teaching point that I've been personally through and discovered something from. But right now, no. Right now, I know I'm a failure, but I have failed in certain ways that have not made myself proud.
Deep. That was so deep.
But I mean, we all failed at some point. Like I know I have.
I think it is foolish to think that because I failed, I am not proud of myself.
Yeah.
I am proud of myself because I have failed. Because that meant that each one of those times that I failed, I stepped out of my comfort zone and I stopped doing things that I was good at and I did things that I had never done before or I had barely done before.
But you succeeded in those, right? You learned new lessons. There was a scene
Let
from
me
Michael
tell you a
Jordan.
story.
Okay.
In grade 10, No. Yes. Grade 10. I walked into school with a broken arm. Broken in 3 places. You want to know what I was doing when I did that? I was biking. In grade 10, you were 15, yeah? I've been on a bike. There are pictures of me on a bike since when I was 3. Granted, I had like those little training wheels on the side. But since I was 6, I've been riding a bike with no training wheels. When I moved to Canada, until I could drive, I literally went everywhere on a bike. And I think 15 was the last year that I really biked. And I fell off and I broke my arm because I was doing stupid things. I failed at riding a bike, something that I had been doing extensively for most of my life.
Can I ask you a question though?
Please don't ask me what it was.
I'm more interested to ask you. Do you think that's a failure or do you think that's a mistake?
That's a good question.
What is the difference
Because the
between
thing is,
failure and a mistake?
because the failure is you were unsuccessful, right? Like you just completely missed the mark or something.
Would
I
a
think it's-
mistake be... So a mistake would be, coming up with the definition off the top of my head, attempting to do something, but failing to do it.
attempting to do something but
But
failing to
it's
do it.
without so failure in a task versus a mistake in a task.
I
say
think a
that
mistake
like
would be more of a misstep.
Oh no, that was definitely failure because that was the end of what I was trying to do.
No.
A mistake you can
But
get out from and
but
keep
I
going.
think I think the
But you
mistake.
said it's a failure of you riding your bike.
no,
But would
a
you
mis-
think that like that one incident stopped you from ever riding a bike again?
It stopped me from doing what I was doing.
But what you said, what you were doing was stupid. So is that actually a bad thing that you stopped doing it?
I mean, I did it a few more times.
So
I didn't injure myself again, but I fell off a few times, and that's when I thought to myself, you know, a smarter man than me would have stopped the first time.
I reckon he was doing a wheelie.
No, way worse.
okay.
Way worse. I can do a wheelie with my eyes closed. I
I want to see that. I don't want you to
I think
break
that's
something
a
else.
conversation for
Yes,
off the
off,
cameras.
yes.
You know,
But-
for off the cameras.
But my point here was that you can't grow without failing. You know, the first time we did anything that we're good at, like anything that we have a passion for example, I like photography. I take a lot of pictures of cars. You know, the first time I picked up a camera and I took a picture of a car, it was a nerve-wracking experience because when I was younger, I was very introverted, did not like talking to people, and I was taking pictures of my friend's Mini. The pictures were overexposed, not in focus, but they were quite abysmal. And that wasn't that long ago. I started using a DSLR in 2020. Fast forward to 3 years now, it's where I make most of my money is photographic cars, right? So if I hadn't bought a camera, if I hadn't picked it up, if I hadn't failed, I wouldn't have done anything. I wouldn't have reached there, because what happened was that I picked it up, I failed, and that led to me watching a lot of videos and thinking about it. How do I do better? You know, I watched a lot of videos of doing better, etc., etc. I was able to take those steps because I had failed at something. We have definitely gotten sidetracked. Now, fast forward to 15.
Actually,
Oh, we have missed her.
my bad as always.
There's your camera.
But can you repeat the question again? Just
Do you think your 10-year-old self would be proud of the human being or of the person that you are today?
I would say that he would be proud of the person I am today, considering what I knew at the age of 10, and keeping that in mind. I think he would be proud. Now, granted, what I think of myself right now is a different situation, but as for the sake of the question, I would say, yeah, you know, he would be proud, and keep it short.
So, based off of all those like perspectives that we've all given, at 10, we've understood that we had so little perspective of this world. We were focused on so little, but we looked up to a lot of people. We looked up to a lot of older people, right? Especially like, I don't know, personally, I looked up to my uncles, my dad, of course. But now that we're looking back on it, we're like, yeah, we would be proud of ourselves, or we wouldn't be proud of ourselves, but we had better reasons for it. So now that like we have this new understanding of ourselves, like being so young, how about 5 years later, at 15 now? At 15 years old, do you guys think you would be proud of where you're at?
That's a harder question to answer. At 15 years old, I thought I knew what I wanted to do with my life. In grade 10, actually in grade 9, there's a teacher who I will probably almost always look back in my life as one of the greatest. Why did my chair move for no reason? Anyway, as one of the greatest professors or teachers that I've ever had. And I walked in, in grade 9, you're 14. So 14-year-old Mookie walks in, unknowingly into a science class that was about to change his life or change his perception of what he thought he wanted to be. I went through most of high school with no concrete knowledge that this is what I want to do in life. But in grade 9, Mr. Patterson, we had one period where we talked about particle physics, like astrophysics, or as much about astrophysics as you can discuss with grade 9s, right? And that's where I was like, yo, this is really fascinating. And that I was intrigued. I started reading a lot about this topic. I started doing a lot of research on my own. It led to me in grade 12 doing an Earth and Space Science course. And at that point, I fully thought I wanted to be a theoretical physicist. In fact, to this day, I still wish that I had gone into physics, that I'd become a theoretical physicist. But I'm done uni, and I majored in software. And I don't regret it at all. But at 15, I thought I was going to be a theoretical physicist. I thought I was going to get a PhD and do a whole bunch of research. And then real life came knocking on the door. Based on my research, it's quite hard to make a living as a scientist as opposed to someone who's a software engineer, any form of engineer. So I really went into engineering, software engineering, because my dad asked me to. My dad's been in the field for a long time. He's like, this is what the world is moving towards. I can help you out. My uncle has a software company, so I was like, this makes sense. It seems like it's a decent fit for me. Now, would I go back and switch to theoretical physics? It's a hard question to answer because money has always been a really big motivator for me. And I would love to say in the past few years, I've grown beyond that, and I'm like, money is not really the thing of focus, but I would say the reason I want a lot of money has changed.
But take away the money for a second. Would you still want to do software eng?
Yeah, it's interesting enough that it challenges me quite a bit because my nature as a human being is not someone who sits in one place. This is why I've put 200,000 kilometers on my car. I like exploring. I like going out. I like doing things I don't know if I can say I like blowing things up. Don't take it the wrong way.
Oh, God.
Like as a theoretical physicist, if I got to, I'd like throw those particles together and make this shit blow up, I like doing experiments. I like working with my hands. But software engineering, there is quite much less of that. But it's fun. I enjoy it. I enjoy quite a bit.
You have passion for it. That's what I'm at.
Absolutely not.
Okay, so I don't know where I was going with it.
I don't have passion for it, but I'm interested enough in it to stay in it because I know that later on down the road, when I have my own family, when I have my house, I'm going to need to be doing something that will allow me to still have an enjoyable life and uphold the quality and standard of living that I'm able to enjoy right now.
Okay. Yes, that's fair. But all right, so 15-year-old self, would he be proud of you?
I think so. I think that I do enough things outside of just education that would constitute 15-year-old me being proud. Because when I was 15, I was made a mentor for a whole bunch of kids. And I've been in that position now for 7 years almost. And in that, when I first became a mentor for kids, at 15, I was a lost soul. Responsibility, none. All I wanted to do, get home, play soccer with the boys, bro. Play cricket
But you're
with my
15,
boys.
bro. You don't have to do anything like that.
Yeah, but I was thrust into a position where I had to be very responsible. When you're a mentor, what happens is it's not just how you act in that space, right? It becomes part of your identity now, or part of it becomes really important how you are outside of that space as well. Because there was all of these kids, they lived in, like, around me, in my area. So when I'd be out playing with the boys or driving, or I couldn't drive a type of biking, I would see a lot of them quite often. Or when you go out with your family, you see them. And so the person that you are has to change for that child to still see you in that mentor role, right? And it's not just the child seeing you; it's now their families as well. You're dealing a lot with their mothers, with their fathers, with their parents. Your demeanor has to change. The way you talk changes. The way you act. The way you compose yourself. The way you present yourself. A lot of it changes. And when I was 15, I didn't think I could do it. So it's honest about the truth. I was like, what is going on? Why are you doing this to me? But I think now, looking back at what in that space, I think I've done enough where I can sort of not sit back, but I can look at it and be like, this is something to be proud of. I feel like I don't want to blow smoke up my own bum, but I think I've done, okay, I shouldn't compare myself to other people, but I've done better than I thought I could have.
You raised a good point earlier or you raised an interesting point when you were like,
That's never good when it changes from good to interesting.
well, good point, or like I'd say interesting point, because it made me think about myself for a second. Because you said how when you were 15, you thought you wanted to be someone else, or you thought you wanted to get into a different career than you are now.
Yeah.
Now, I thought about where I was and what I was thinking about the age of 15. At the age of 15, I still wanted to be what I want to be right now. At the age of 15, 15-year-old me knew what I had to do, knew what it would have to take, knew everything that had to be done to get to where I want to be, which I know now, but I'm in a different position now where, as Mr. Shlokrai had mentioned earlier,
Monsieur.
that I have made mistakes and taken my fair share of L's and failure. And I have to say that last year, I was at a point here, and let's say I was at a low point last year, to the point where my life was pretty much uncertain as to whether I can get to where I want to be, and everything like that. Like 15-year-old me knew that, okay, it takes 4 years, right? After 4 years, you graduate, you go to med school after that, right? Obviously, 15-year-old me is very optimistic, and it's a very long road and a hard road, but it's the traditional route, 4 and then going to 4, right? Here I am, 21 years old, have not graduated yet. Why? Because 20-year-old me wants to take another year, which is still, it's fine. It's not the traditional way, but it's fine. That's one fail. Now, 21-year-old me is also in his 4th year trying to compensate for all the time lost in the first 3 years. That 15-year-old me didn't think he would lose, but that lost time was because of my mistakes, my bad choices, my lack of whatever, right? So 15-year-old me would not necessarily be proud of where I am. However, if we think back to, let's say, last year me, I was over here, right? And let's say to become a doctor, you have to be up here. Now, last year I was over here, nowhere near where I wanted to be. Now, within about a year, I've been able to maybe bridge the gap and come up to like here, right? So granted, I have made a lot of progress in the last year, and last year me would be proud of where I am right now, because last year me knew where I was last year, and knew the depths of whatever cavern I was stuck at, and I was like, oh shit, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to do this. I'm going to fail, right? But 15-year-old me would have never thought that I'd be here, would have never thought that I'd have to do this, and would probably not be proud of where I am.
What about you, Kurt?
You know, it's funny. It's interesting because Aryan said something that struck a chord with me. It's the traditional route, right? The traditional route, the route you expected to take. 15-year-old me wanted to be an investment banker. I wanted to go in finance.
All the richest people I know are investment bankers. I'm convinced there is no such thing as investment banking. They're just drug dealers because there's way too much money for one individual.
And I know, and that's exactly, and another thing that Mookie said, you know, I was in it for the money, right? Like at that point in life, that's the thing that I thought about the most, making money. You know, it's not something that I talk about nowadays because I feel like I've tried to move past that fact and, you know, move beyond the fact that there are more things in life that are more important than money. But yes, like I still think that, you know, 15-year-old me would understand that. I'd say 15-year-old me would understand why I am where I am today, but I wouldn't say he would necessarily be proud of where I am today, the person that I am today. And a lot of that has to do with, you know, the way 15-year-old me saw the world, right? 15-year-old me saw the world in a really different way compared to the way I see the world today, the way I conduct myself in that space. And so I think it's 15-year-old me he'd understand, but he wouldn't be entirely proud, so to speak.
But wouldn't be entirely proud. But what about your decisions to move away from the importance of money? Would that be something 15-year-old you would probably see as growth?
I think, you know, it's funny. I think I would agree with that fact because the reason I've chosen to go into law now is because I've always enjoyed helping people. And that's one thing I realized over the course of high school and even in the last few years of university, right? It's something that I've learned to understand that no matter how much I've wanted that money, there's a part of me that's been attentive to the fact that I'm not that person. I'm not solely driven by, you know, being... There's this understanding that, you know, if you're in finance or in investment banking, you basically take advantage of other people. To put it bluntly, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, 15-year-old me didn't understand that fact. 22-year-old me understands that fact a little bit better. And the way the world works, you know, the ups and downs, the black and white, you know, it all comes kind of gray. And I think there is a sense of my 15-year-old self understanding why I made the choices that I did. But again, there is a sense of, I would say there would be a sense of disappointment.
Okay, so let's see if 10-year-old Shloke and 15-year-old Shloke disagree with each other. Okay, moving on.
I have one short thing to say real quickly. No, but this is just
you have to be quick. Take your time.
It's for me, it's a quick reason, and it's because a lot of what Aryan says does apply to me, but there's one thing that always stayed privy to me. 15-year-old me would have been happier if I had rebounded well. The thing is that every person's privy to their own vices.
What are you rebounding from?
That's personal. I can't say it yet. Off screen, of course, I'll be able to talk about it, but not off screen. But everyone's privy to their own vices. The thing is, you can't let your vices engulf you. Like your vices, the sins, or whatever your ugly comforts are. It makes it for me. It's like a TARDIS fit, and every time I try to claw my way out of it, like when I'm halfway there, I give myself a reward, and then I just slip and fall. And I've done it like 3 times, and this was my journey to lose weight in the beginning. and it keeps on happening. And the only thing about it that makes me feel like saying no once again for a 15-year-old self is that I kept on falling into my own vices. So, but that's it.
But you still have hope.
I still have
That's
hope.
good. That's all you need.
Let us move forth into the future.
25.
The big 25, halfway to 50.
Dude, that's like,
Quarter of your, more than a quarter of your life.
yeah.
I hope
Well-
everyone here is still there 500, but you know, I would not want to live till I'm 500. I would like to die when, you know, I don't want to be at an age where someone has to take care of me. It's neither here nor there. But 25, so we've got 3 years, realistically. You know, this year we'll all be 22, so 2026 we'll all be 25. Inshallah. I was hoping everyone survives that long. The way the world's going,
Bro, you're jinxing us like 3-4 times.
No,
like
no,
in
this
these little ones.
podcast, we will be still in Schloke's basement, building it. We will fly out from wherever we are.
No. I feel like, okay, that's actually a great segue. I do not want to be in Shloke's basement for a long time. For podcast
We love your
purposes.
basement.
For podcast purposes, Shloke's basement is cool. We've had a lot of great times in here. I've beaten a lot of people at ping pong here.
The old basement, though.
I know.
Here's the thing. Ever since, I think ever since the age of 15, I looked at the age of 25 and gone to myself, I will have a GT3 RS. I will have a Miami Blue GT3 RS with yellow brake calipers and a white sack package and a carbon hood. But as of late, my goals have started to shift. When I was younger, like I said, I wanted to be a rich individual, you know? All I cared about realistically was money. Now, as I've grown up, I've had a couple of people in my life pass away, a couple of people really close to me. And I have a couple of people really close to me who are on the verge of passing away. One of my uncles has he has stage 4 lung cancer, and this idiot, me, recently learned that stage 4 means terminal. So I did not. My sister told me this morning, and I was like, eye-opening for me. I was like, ain't no way, dog. But so I've learned that more than money, I value family quite a bit. I know now that at 25, in order for me to think I'm successful, obviously I want to be financially independent. You know, obviously I want to move out to potentially hopefully be married. You know, not be. I wouldn't mind living with my parents as long as my parents are living with me and not the other way around. There's an important
The distinction there, yeah.
right? I would love to keep my parents around, but obviously if my parents don't want to live with me, understandable. But, you know, my parents raised me for the 22, 23 years of my life for the foreseeable future as well, and it's just my job now. It's my duty that as my parents get older, I take care of them. I am not someone who believes in sticking my parents in a retirement home. But I know for me to be successful, that's what I would want. A GT3 RS.
Big.
No,
It's good though, it's
I'm
good.
joking. But when I was younger, a lot of my concepts and ideologies of success were tied to materialistic things. But as I grow older, I've learned that it's really the memories you make and the people you make those memories
I'm gonna
with,
be-
the times you spend.
I'm
right?
gonna be real. That was even this like materialistic thing was even recent. You've grown so much in like a year.
I stop exposing me, dog. I'm kind of really like
No, the year shows rapid growth and maturing of this man.
I remember the first day I met Mookie. It was grade 9 with geography class. From that day, the change I have seen.
geometry class. Oh my goodness.
And
Yeah.
for me, it was
Geometry.
like grade
No,
10.
geography.
No, geography.
Yeah.
We went to we had what her name was.
I forgot her.
Baxter?
Baxter, yes.
Baxter.
Oh my god.
I love that class, but I remember
It was
that.
fun. It was fun.
But from that day to see the changes you made now, I can see how much better of a person or big of a person you've become. You've You
I
fulfill
was
so
so
much.
bad at taking compliments. My head swelled.
Rookie didn't have a beard.
Yeah.
I can't even picture Rookie without a beard.
I've never seen him with no beard.
Yeah.
Our grade 10 science, first semester. That was the first time.
Grade
I
10
met
science was right.
and Mr. Courage.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of our friends.
Yeah. Oh, I remember.
That grade 10 science class was something else, bro. My science teacher, she soaked the tip of a match in kerosene and tried to light it on fire.
And then she burned her hand almost.
No,
She left her finger.
yeah, it dropped. She accidentally dropped it into the kerosene. So she picked up the same soaking match. She hasn't lit it on fire yet. Proceeded to light it on fire. Now, obviously, the entire thing blew up. And she probably goes, I don't know why I did that. And that was the point where I started questioning our entire education.
Yes.
Science teacher.
No, there was something good. I remember.
We're gonna have to bleep out her name now. We can't.
Oh yeah.
We will have to.
Stop using the name. You know how long it takes to find these songs?
Calm down. Mrs.
If it's a good
W.
thing, you can use her name.
Mrs. W. We'll just say
We'll just say. Ben, are you trying to copy Modern Town?
okay, Mrs. W. I remember Mr. Courage got a certain test mark back, and we saw the test, and there was one question that she completely got wrong. Like, she marked completely wrong for everybody. And I remember the first reaction of Mr. Courage. That was so funny.
That class, yeah.
That class.
It was so funny. So on the last science test, full disclosure, I cheated. It was on my phone. And I copied the answer and I wrote down from Google. She marked it wrong. Now, imagine my dilemma. I can't go up to her and explain why I'm right. I can't go up to her and be like, look, it's right here. I'm right. You completely forgot I'm wrong, right? But I know I'm right, but I can't prove I'm right. It was such a... I was like, whoa, what am I supposed to do now? Whoa. That's when I stopped cheating.
Because you can't explain what you can. Can you
It
explain?
was the most stupid question to me. It was about LED lights, bro. I was like,
Like a little older stage or something.
I don't remember what it was. It was an explanation question. I wasn't good with words back then. I was like, the electricity comes in, they like mingle and boom, light. You know?
Let there be
Software
light.
engineering.
Yeah. I can code it, I can't explain it.
Oh man.
I didn't go to the same school.
No.
Yeah. It would have been nice if Aryan had come to win.
No, I would have. Trust me, it would have been
Bro,
so
the bits from this podcast, bits, bro.
The bit.
The snippets.
Oh, the snippets. I feel like I'd be wild.
At 25?
So, turning our attention back slightly to this intriguing conversation. Oh, now I get to pick who to direct the conversation to. So, what do you think
Well, 25.
you need to be, or who do you think you need to be, to finally be proud of yourself at the tender age of 25?
Okay, so for my 25-year-old self, to be proud of myself then, or what I want to be at that age, I want to basically be able to get rid of my vices. Like, not get rid of them, or get out of the Tartarus pit I'm in currently. I want to be able to be focused, not go into like a hole whenever I'm scared, not like do things I'm embarrassed to do. Just be proud of who I am. Like, be qualities of a responsible person, and have qualities of a responsible person. Yes, it's just something simple.
What's going on? I started laughing because they're over there laughing and they're in my field of view.
No, I have an idea what they're talking
I'm
about.
sorry, I was asking him, I asked Karen what noise and tortoise made.
And I have no clue. I have no
Bro, have you seen the
I'm not a biologist. I was trying to make a really different sound.
No, listen, there's no way you guys have not seen a specific video on YouTube. There's no way.
It's
There's-
I don't know what he's talking about, but whenever he says specific, it's never good for
I
me.
cannot say
it's
it.
of two turtles. It's of two turtles
Mating.
doing the action.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the sound
Yes!
tortoises make.
The one they're doing the action. No other.
Guys, Over to Karan. Please, Karan.
What noises do you make when you're doing the action?
Well, you know what? I think one thing, thinking forward, I hope that I'm able to make a proper tortoise voice.
Yes.
Or a proper action face.
Good on you, Shul.
Action voice.
No, for you, not for me. For me, I just don't want to get up my vices.
So,
I want to be responsible.
Karan,
Yes.
what do you think you need to do, or where do you need to be, or who do you need to be for 22-year-old Karan now to be proud of 25-year-old Karan?
Where do I need to be right now for 25-year-old to be proud of me? 25-year-old me to be proud of me right now.
No, other way around. For you right now to be proud of 25-year-old me.
Where does 25-year-old me have to be?
What you gotta do to make yourself proud, bro?
Well, I'd hope by that point that, I'm in law. Well, I am in law school, finishing up, and then eventually taking the steps towards taking the bar exam and getting one step closer to actually being a practicing lawyer. So that would be my hope to, be proud of myself at that point in life, because right now I've taken, again, the non-traditional route that we've kind of talked about, where I'm taking a gap year to take my LSATs and then apply fall of this year. So if I'm able to stay on track, hopefully I am able to stick to my plan, and that would be something that would make me proud at that point in life.
So is it just the law school, or is there anything else?
Because I've devoted most of the last 4 years towards, getting into the field of law, I think that is something that would make me happy at that point in life, because I've sacrificed so much time and so much effort and has gone into achieving this goal that is what I feel in this moment. In this moment, that's what I feel. Maybe if the cameras are off, I might feel a little bit more different later on, and I might actually reevaluate that. But as of this moment currently, that is perhaps my single focus.
You make a good point about the sacrifice, because I think that's something me and you have, of course everyone sacrificed something, but me and you specifically, and Shlok too,
Yeah.
have that thing in common where it's like we're not done school after.
I've been saying that.
Because you're lucky enough where you don't have to do school after.
I wouldn't say lucky.
Well, not lucky.
I think I wouldn't say luck is the thing. It's just a matter of the choices that we've made have put us into this position where we're actually we're choosing to take that extra step, to go that extra mile and actually complete our further education, whether it's your MD or it's my JD. We've taken that choice, and we've actually accepted the fact that this is what we have to do in order to get to that stage of life.
In simpler words, it's your fault.
It is my fault. I have put myself in this position, which is true. But similar thing with you. Since the 8th grade specifically, I've wanted to be a doctor. Actually, since the 8th grade, well, technically since the 7th grade, I've wanted to do something in the healthcare field. Originally, I wanted to be a dentist. Then I moved into being a doctor. I don't know why I wanted to be a dentist, but I moved into wanting to be a doctor. Went through a lot of my adolescent years witnessing, my an ailing grandmother and all those kind of things, which helped, or not helped. I don't want to say helped, which
Push you towards that.
yeah, which kind of inspired me, kind of nudged me into wanting to do more for that scene. And I think that at the age of 25, I will be in med school.
Inshallah.
I would. Yes, inshallah, I will be there. There are so many, specifically yesterday, which is really, really interesting. It's because yesterday I was just walking through my house, and I don't know what I was thinking about, but I got a vision of me getting an acceptance letter next year to a med school, and I could witness myself just breaking into so many tears of happiness. And I was like, I can't wait for that feeling. So I will be there. My life is meant to be helping people, because that's just the personality I am. I have to be doing that. I want to be someone who can start pivoting the way to change the way doctors are, being maybe taught. Doctors are helping patients. I want to be able to treat patients with care, respect. I want to be understanding, supportive. I want to be more than just someone who prescribes medications, who deals with the bare minimum. I want to be someone who can go further, obviously ethically, morally, but someone who can go further and do the most. Actually see someone from the start to the end, and give them everything that I can, all my time, whatever. And then of course, apart from the career, I want to be, someone. I have the feeling I want to be someone who has, a love life, has the good friends around them. Yeah, I want the whole balance, but I think for me, 25 to be where I want to be, that's essentially what it is. I want that white coat around me. I want that stethoscope. I want it to say Aryan Kapoor, MD, DO, whatever.
And we'll be there at your white coat ceremony.
Yes. That's all.
Please don't be a deal.
No, Dio's good, bro.
Don't be a
Dio's good. Dio's good. Dio's good.
My brow carried the time this thing. Don't.
No, the Dio's good. Trust. Dio's good. Doctor of osteopathic medicine.
It's basically when your MCAT scores were too low, so you couldn't become an MD.
Not even your MCAT scores were too low. It's actually a DO is very good. I'll get into if
Is
you
it a
guys
bone
want.
doctor?
Huh?
Is it a bone doctor?
No. That's
When your legs are, when your legs
become doctors before deals.
no. I'll tell you.
I heard osteo.
Huh?
That's why I
it's
assumed.
like when your legs are different
No, that's
sizes.
Okay, we're going
Also,
off.
It's
a
like
doctor-
getting a bachelor.
Oh, those are
Hold
orthodontics.
on.
Yeah.
Hold on. It's like getting a bachelor.
Orthodontics
and then
is
getting a B-Tech.
no. So a doctor of
You can do
osteopathic.
the same thing, but what's the point?
No. A doctor of osteopathic medicine. The main difference between them is actually the way they teach you. So with a DO, they teach you to treat the body in a more holistic way. So treating not only just the ailment, but also treating what can cause the ailment outside of just the one main cause, right? So for example, stress is a big factor that causes a lot of things, right? Yes, you can treat the thing, or you can figure out a way to deal with, the person holistically, and which I think is a very, very
So you can see the
important-
source
Exactly.
more than
just
cause.
the one cause. You see what's causing this one thing, because this one thing could be causing a million other things, or cause a million other things.
Dr. Mike is a DO,
Yeah,
right?
Dr. Mike's a DO.
Yeah.
He's a big inspiration of mine.
A boxer as well, so yeah.
Big inspiration.
Really, I didn't know he was.
Dr. Mike's a DO. No, that's why I figured out what DO was. I figured out what DO was back in 2018 when I first started watching him.
Yeah.
So he's a big
Dr.
inspiration.
Mike, he makes good content.
No,
Shout out
he's a
Dr.
big
Mike.
inspiration.
So wait,
I want to be
Dr.
like
Mike
you.
a podcast.
I want to be like you, Dr. Mike.
Dr.
If you want,
Kapoor.
if we can have a conversation, I would love that.
You know what I want to be eventually?
Yeah.
Eventually. What's the ultimate sign of success that you have made it as any sort of famous person?
Imam.
No. You write a book.
Ah, that's true.
I don't know. I would disagree. A lot of bad people have books.
A lot of bad famous people?
I think no. I'll tell you. I think
So
even
what
more.
I mean is, I want to write a book about this podcast.
I think even more than a book, you could do like one of those motivational speeches.
TED Talk.
Fill out a TED
TED
Talk.
Talk.
A TED Talk.
One
A
day
TED Talk.
I shall do a TEDithy talk.
Go on TEDx and talk about this podcast.
And
We will be sitting in the audience, or we'll come up on stage with you.
y'all will be up there with me. Anyway, so that wraps it up. I know this episode might have been a
Wait,
bit more.
before we wrap it up, sorry, I'm not interrupting anyone. I want to ask Mr. Producer just two things. When you're 25, what do you want to be?
Oh shit.
Listen, we ain't got time for that.
But in the comments, maybe you can.
In the
civil engineer.
He can. Hey, you know what the producer does?
What?
He does not contribute in the content. He produces. We have run out of time. My bad.
Actually, no.
Leave a comment.
Drake produced Euphoria. He was in Euphoria.
Leave a comment.
Screw that.
Bro, Euphoria is a bad example. That show has so many issues. It promotes child.
Slow.
I'm not gonna say it.
Finish your sentence.
America.
I think
So
like,
we are going to get
It's
cancelled
America.
by all the people who watch Euphoria.
I'll do.
I have a lot of friends who watch
Alright.
Euphoria, so for
Alright,
that
okay,
reason,
okay.
let's move
Okay,
on.
okay. I'll add my bit
If
quickly.
you're looking for motivation, don't watch Euphoria. If you're looking for entertainment, watch Euphoria. will be entertaining.
Comment.
What kind of entertainment though?
Please comment
Everything.
if your 10-year-old self and your 15-year-old self is proud of who you are now, and what do you want to be in the future? Not just if like you're 25, but 5 years from now, what you would want to do in the future. Also, don't comment if you like Euphoria. I'm joking. So
Hey, comments are always welcome.
You're about to have a whole fan base with your assholes.
I don't care.
Hey, you know what? And putting yourself out on the internet is gonna make you a target of something at some point.
Mookie's pissed right now, so
Peace out, boys.
No, he has to say one thing, and then we have to go.
Go do something with your life. Oh, let's go do something with our life. I butchered it.
Subscribe as well, please. Good night.
Take it easy.